Okay, moving right along. Let's talk legal. Okay, again, there's a separate seminar on legal, so I'm just going to touch on a few key points. First point is counterfeit. Counterfeit, and the lesson that you should all walk away with is counterfeit is bad. If counterfeiting was legal, we wouldn't be here. The show wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be in the trademark business. There's a lot of counterfeiting going on out there. A friend describes it as a game of almost whack-a-mole. The more they shut down, the more sites pop up and so forth. We saw the NFL took an interesting approach. Let me show you a quick video. They have now gone on the offensive. Instead of just policing, which they continue to do, they actually are running ads, which they run like this around the last Super Bowl.
She thought she was supporting the Buccaneers, not pirates. They're supporting thieves, not the Steelers. They're not supporting the Ravens, Eagles, Falcons, or Seahawks. They're supporting vultures.
Counterfeit gear doesn't support your team and often supports criminal enterprises. So make sure your gear is authentic NFL gear.
Buy authentic NFL gear.
Bryant.
So the NFL has done a great job and continues to do a great job, but they are also one of the biggest targets for this. The other thing I want to talk about for legal is that when you're doing a contract and talk about legal, you have to talk about contracts. There's a lot of points that go into the contract. I'm going to focus on 5 points that are in that contract. And what happens is you're going to be negotiating between a licensee and licensor on these points. And the 5 key points I want to point out are, one is the royalty rate, as we talked about before, but there's 2 sides to every negotiation. You have what the licensee wants, and you have what the licensor wants. Licensor wants a high royalty. Licensee, they want to pay as little as possible. You have what we talked about. You have the net sales definition. And again, we can cover this in Q&A if you want, but bottom line, it's a very important term when you negotiate because net sales equals gross sales less deductions. And what are those deductions? That's the negotiation. The licensors don't want any deductions. Licensees say, hey, I need to deduct anything, any defects or maybe slotting fees or maybe some other items. Exclusivity, another key one, especially with the goal being to have this license as your competitive sustainable advantage. It's important for you that it's exclusive. However, the licensor, they want to have their freedom. They need to have room to get out if they need to and license somebody else. Minimum royalty payment, we talked about that. What we didn't talk about is how is that paid? Is that amount, when we talked about $50,000 before, is that amount paid up front or is it paid towards the back of the contract? And finally, the approvals. That's another key area, the items the licensor has to approve the product, but is it going to be 10 days? And what if they don't respond in 10 days? So the key thing, it's all about negotiating. And you know the 2 sides. And just remember the key rule to negotiating is that everything's negotiable.